Hi everyone, happy Monday. I hope you had a really good weekend. This is your daily tarot reading for Monday, January 7th, 2019. My brain still wants to say 2018 every time I say that, but it is 2019. We just made it through the first week, the first 7 days of 2019. So hopefully you're off to a good start. If you're not, just know that we still have like 51 more weeks for you to bring whatever it is you're trying to manifest in your life into being, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to ask for your overall energy. This is the energy that's going to guide this reading. It's going to kind of help us understand a little bit more about what the rest of the messages are that you get today. So what is your overall guiding energy for this day, Monday, January 7th, 2019? What is your overall guiding energy for this Monday? The perfection of your life. So this card usually comes with a message that everything may not go exactly the way that you'd hoped it would go today, but just be aware that whatever does tend to happen, it is leading you on the right path. Whatever goes on today, it is something that's meant to happen. So it is your job to try to see the positive and see the beauty in certain situations, like say you're on your way somewhere, but there's traffic or your train delays if you live in a city with trains. Whatever it is, it's like slows you down. And our tendency is to get really mad and just be like, damn it, I was supposed to be there, and like now I'm late and they're gonna be mad at me and blah blah blah. Listen, I totally understand how that happens literally all the time in New York. You have to leave like half an hour early if you want to get somewhere on time, and that either you're on time or you're half an hour early and you're stuck out in the cold. It sucks. I totally understand. But what often happens is, you miss some sort of accident that if you'd been on time, you might have been hurt in, or some other event happens, or you're at home and you catch something before it gets worse, like sometimes things that look like they're bad and look like they're not going our way, they actually end up helping us to improve our lives in some way or improve our day in some way. They actually end up doing something good for us, even if we're not necessarily immediately aware of that. So today, with the perfection of your life, just be aware that whatever happens today, whatever negative experience you may be facing today, it might actually end up being something that's for your benefit. So really try to look on the bright side of things, try to look into why things are happening and try to see the patterns of your life. If you're going through something in your relationship and then you look and you're like, okay, every relationship I've had this same problem, then that's something for you to look deeper into so that you can come to a better understanding of yourself and why you keep coming up against that problem, right? So really look at what's going on in your life, look at the patterns that are coming up today, and if things go wrong, really try to look at the bright side of the situation, okay? So let's see if we can get a little bit more about what you might be facing today and what you can hope to achieve or aspire to with your aspirational card. So what is your aspirational energy for today? That can help us understand a little bit more about the perfection of your life card and can help us understand what you can hope for if you are able to overcome your challenges today. So what is your aspirational energy for today, for Monday, January 7th, 2018. What is your aspirational guiding energy for this day? Interesting. You have the Eight of Swords, okay? So with this in your aspirational position, I think you want to be free of some sort of situation that you're in. And because this is in your aspirational position, with the Eight of Swords, it's usually a message of you are trapped in your own drama. You're trapped in this situation, and you're not letting yourself see the way out. With this in your aspirational position, I think that's exactly what you want. You want to either be able to see your way out of this situation, be able to figure out how to get out of this situation that you might have put yourself into. Otherwise, you just don't want to look at the facts of it. And whatever it is, it's like this situation that you're in, you're comfortable holding yourself in it for now. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It just means that that's where you think you need to be right now. And even though it's not necessarily feeling good, it's not something that you're really wanting to face and not something you really want to deal with right now. You are aware that you're in this position because you're choosing to be. You're in this place because, and that's not to say like with the example of the trains that you're choosing to be stuck on a train for half an hour, but you are choosing to leave at a certain time that puts you at risk of being late if you're even 5 minutes behind. You are choosing, to continue with a job that you're not loving. You are choosing to continue being in a relationship that you're not happy in. You're continuing to live in a city that makes you feel bad about yourself, makes you feel exhausted. Okay, whatever the situation is, it's like you're not necessarily ready to let go. And because, like I said, this is in your aspirational position, you're either going to be in the position where you're saying, okay, I acknowledge where I am. How do I move forward? I acknowledge where I am. Now I have to figure out how to break free of these chains that I've put on myself. So I think, in your aspirational position, it's kind of like just coming to a place of acknowledgement, opening up your eyes so that you can see how you've put yourself in this position, and so that you can start to see how to get out. And you're not necessarily going to be ready to leave this situation just yet, but you are ready to acknowledge why you're in this situation and start figuring out ways to get out of it. Okay? So let's see what's challenging you on the physical, earthly level. And this, as I always say, can be your body. It can be your health, can be your jobs, your relationships, and as far as relationship goes, it could be romantic relationships, it can be friendly relationships, work relationships, familial relationships, relationships with your pets, whatever. Anything on the physical level, your home life, your job, your career, your finances. What is challenging you on the physical level today? What is on the top level here challenging you for Monday, January 7th, 2019. You're the Magician. All right, so you're having some trouble having faith in yourself. Right on the bottom, I noticed as I was pulling the card, is the Tower, okay? So you're starting to let go of some things that aren't serving you. Let go of like any old beliefs that you've held on to, any kind of just negative situation that you've been in. It's time for you to start wanting to let that go. And I think that's what the Eight of Swords is about. With the Magician here, though, in your challenged position, you don't have faith in your own abilities. You don't have faith that you're capable of making these changes. You don't have trust that you have the resources you need. You don't believe that you have everything that you need, and you're very focused on the negative today. So instead of if somebody says something to you like, oh, you can totally do this. It might take a little bit of work, might take a little bit of pushing, but you can totally make this change for yourself. You have everything you need. And your response is, yeah, but also there's this and there's this and there's this, and I just can't do it. There's this always getting in the way, and I have to take care of my pet that's always getting in the way. Excuse me. Let me fix that. Just whatever it is, you're just really focused on what you don't have. You're focused on what's not available to you and what you don't feel like you can achieve, and you're not looking at all at what you do have. You're not looking at all at the resources you have. You're not looking at the support that's already there for you. You're not using your intuition at all here. You're not using your own personal wisdom at all. You're not being very disciplined with yourself here. You're literally just focusing on what you don't have and what you can't do and what's not in your reach, instead of looking at what is. Okay, so let's see what you can do to overcome this challenge. How can you overcome this challenge of not wanting to face that you have good things, this challenge of pessimism, this whole deal of you just don't believe in your resources. You don't believe that you have what it takes to do what needs to be done. You don't believe you're capable today. And it's not because you think, oh, I'm incapable. You're in this position where you're thinking that everything that should be brought to you, that should be yours, every skill that you have is like, it's someone else's fault, okay? You're feeling like that issue is because of something else, and that issue is because of someone else, and I can't do it because all of these things are blocking me. Everything outside of myself is blocking me. That's how you're feeling, right? That there are these blockages that are outside of yourself, that it's someone else's fault that you're in this situation, and that you can't really pull yourself out of this situation because everybody else's choices are what's keeping you here, and their choices are out of your control. That's kind of where you are right now. So how do you overcome this challenge today? You have the Knight of Swords. And you have the Empress. Okay. So I think with the Knight of Swords, I think it's telling you to think about how you've gotten to where you are now and the path that you need to take to get out of that, and to really, really think logically about this, because the situation is not, it's not in anyone else's control. I think the Knight of Swords is telling you to take control, as is the Empress. But the Empress is telling you not to try to force that control, not to try to be, not to be as strict as you have been to yourself. I think one of the reasons you've been feeling like, am I gonna sneeze? Sorry. One of the reasons you've been feeling like you can't get anything done, or like you don't have the resources that you need, is because you're in this mindset that there's this just one way to do it. There's just one way to get something done, and the exact resources for that particular method you may not have. However, I think this is telling you to calm down, take a breath, and realize that you do have things inside of you that can make this change, and to be flowing, to be what's the word I'm looking for? Flexible, though, like water, okay? Just be flowing. Let change happen. Create change without being forceful. Yes, sometimes water is forceful, but quite often just a little trickle can create a giant crack in a rock, okay? It doesn't take much to change and move a mountain, okay? It doesn't take much at all. It just takes a little bit of flow. It takes a little bit of relaxation, of tenacity, of just perseverance. That's the word. Perseverance. Just keep going forward. Realize that, logically, there is another way to solve this problem. Logically, there is another way to deal with this issue. And you have the wisdom to figure that out. So take that wisdom within you, and really reconnect with your inner magician, with the inner being that knows his crap, that knows what he's got to do, knows how to do it, and it knows that if one way is not going to work, there are other ways. Okay, so whatever this is that you're dealing with the Knight of Swords, you really need to think logically about different paths to take. You are currently in this place where you're just so gung-ho on taking one specific path that you're not able to see all the other options around you, all the other trails that you can take. But with this Empress, she's saying there are other ways. Be gentle with yourself. Try the gentle path. Try to move in a way that is not standard for you. Okay, you have a wealth of knowledge already within you inherently, just by being a human being of a certain age. You have a wealth of knowledge, and you really need to think logically and tap into that knowledge, and then try to use that to form a new path, and to go, like I said, go gently about this change. You don't have to force an immediate change. You don't have to be too drastic, but you do have to do something, because this is not This is not the energy of a person who just sits and waits. This is not the energy of a person who blames other beings for their shortcomings, okay? This is the mind of a person who says, you know what? Something's not working here. I have to figure out what that is. And then I figure out what that is, and I figure out why, and I figure out different ways to make it work. And as I do that, I let myself know it doesn't have to be immediate. These new ways that I try don't have to work. They don't have to be perfect at the end, but I do have to try something else. I can't just sit and blame one circumstance for where I am right now, okay? So try something else. Really look at all of your options in this situation, and then, be okay with them not being perfect. Be okay with them not working out, and be gentle with yourself and let yourself start over again if you have to. And just, don't think about this from a lack perspective, okay? Don't think about what you don't have. Stop thinking about what you can't access, all right? This is a time for you to say, you know what? I have something. Whatever it is, it's not exactly what I wanted it to be, but I have something. So let me see what I can do with the something I have, what I can use with what I have right here, right now, okay? So let's see what's going on underneath, and maybe we can understand a little bit more about this whole kind of pessimistic energy that you've got going on today. What is going on the mental, emotional, and spiritual level? What is your challenge today on the mental, emotional, and spiritual level that can help us understand a little bit more about what you're going through today for Monday, January 7th, 2019? You're the Queen of Wands. Queen? Yes, Queen of Wands. I think, that nurturing energy of the Empress that we just got, that's kind of what you're not feeling connected to, which is troubling, of course. You're not feeling very directed. You're feeling like there's a part of you that really needs some care, and it hasn't been getting that care. And because it hasn't been getting that care from you, you have been feeling disconnected in every other aspect of your life. Every relationship, every goal you set for yourself, everything you intend to do, it just feels like it's so much more work than it might have been a year ago. It's so much more work than you think it should be. Okay, you're just kind of tired. You're kind of and it's not like a physical tired. It's this is your underneath. This is your mental, spiritual, kind of emotional energy here. So it's like this internal exhaustion. It's like you wake up tired. You spend your whole day in this kind of haze of exhaustion. You go to bed and start all over the next day, and you're still just tired all the time. And you could sleep 12 hours, half of your day, and still wake up exhausted. And you just don't know. You don't know how much more of this you can deal with, how much more of this exhaustion and this tiredness and this lack of care you can deal with. But I think the reason you're feeling that way is because there's a part of you that needs nurture. There's a part of you that needs to be cared for, and it hasn't been. You haven't been taking those active steps to feed your spirit, to feed your soul, to feed your heart. And this isn't the same as, doing things for escapism. This isn't the same as, playing video games and watching TV and just things that don't feel like they fill your soul. They're just things to keep you distracted, keep you entertained for a little bit, but they don't make you think, they don't make you feel emotions, they don't make you question things, and they don't make you excited. They don't make you feel like you're awake and alive. They're just pulling you into this imaginary world that you don't have to think about yourself or your world or your responsibilities or your obligations or anything like that. And it's just really starting to get exhausting for you because you're so stuck in that cycle that you're just not nurturing your soul. You're not feeding yourself in the way that you need to be. You're not feeding that vital part of you that makes you feel alive and awake and excited about life. Okay, so let's see what we can do to overcome that challenge. How can you overcome this lack of purpose, this feeling like you're just floating along, being entertained, being stuck in a loop of escapism and not feeling alive, not feeling purposeful, not being able to wake up and be energized and feel good about your day and feel like, you're on a path. I think one of the most important things in life is having that purpose, having some sort of cause that drives you. And if you feel like you don't, and you feel like you're just floating through the motions and floating through your days, then that's something you need to address. And so let's see what we can do to address this and overcome this, because I want you to feel good about your life. So what can we do to overcome this challenge? So you have the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, we have two knights here. So there is a chance you are kind of in an obsessive place, but then we have the Ten of Wands. There's a chance you're kind of obsessing over the negative in your life. You're kind of obsessing over all the bad things. You look at the news every day and you see everything that could affect you, and that's what you're holding on into. You're just like, and lots of things can affect us. There are lots of things going on right now in the United States, especially as far as I know, the United States, there's a lot of stuff happening that affects all of us, that affects, me, women, black people, queer people, pagan people. There are lots of things in this world that are very scary and very dangerous right now. And our government is not a place where we feel supported. It's not a thing that helps people on fringe cultures and things like that feel supported. And it's totally understandable to be afraid of that. But I think you're in this position where that's all you can think about is all the bad things in the world and all the things that could hurt you and could harm you. And you're not able to focus on healing, right? And you're overwhelmed. You're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, I think, with just the idea that despite all of the abundance in your life and all the good that can come into your life, it's going to take just one person, one thing to take it all away. And that's how you're feeling. And again, you're so tired. But because these are your overcoming cards, I think the message here is not to give up, not to quit. Know that the universe, nature, your higher power, whatever you call it, they are here for you. They are guiding you. They are watching you. And they're not going to let you continue to suffer forever. They're going to let you work. And yes, you're going to get to a point where you're exhausted, but you can't give up. There's just a little more work for you. Just keep going. Keep pushing yourself through this. And try to remember, even if it's a little bit overwhelming, even if it's a little bit scary, that there's so much abundance here for you. There's so much going for you. And it's going to take a little bit of work, a little bit of thought, but you are going to be able to bring about creative fertility. You're going to be able to bring about more abundance into your life, but you do need to keep pushing yourself, keep working to overcome this, and try to let go of any obsessions that you're dealing with and really look at your life in a realistic way. And realistic does not mean pessimistic, okay? Realistic means, okay, I am not making as much money this month as I would have liked to do. Realistically, it's possible to make more money. Realistically, what steps do I have to take to solve this problem? What are the smallest steps I have to take? Okay, say you're going to school and when you graduate, you want to be able to have a job, but you need an internship. and they tell you, you know, by your senior year, you need an internship. But that means you can get an internship anytime. So if you're like in your second year and you're saying, in 2 years, I'll try to get an internship so that I can get a head start on my job when I graduate. That's you choosing to push yourself backwards. That's you choosing to let your own path wait. Okay? It's so easy to say, you know what, I'm going to at least look into the places that allow internships. I'm going to call them up. I'm going to check out their application processes. I'm going to talk to someone and see if they're allowing early internship, if they would take me, see if they have any paid internships, because that'd be really cool. And you never know what could happen in your life if you just start thinking outside of the box and start trying to take just the smallest steps. Like Googling a list of places that allow internships in your field, easy. Super small step. That is not a huge step. That's something you could literally do in 5 minutes today. Okay? So, with this Knight of Pentacles, you know, really let yourself stop and look around at the options, and don't let yourself be overwhelmed by any one option or by how many there are. Just take the time to narrow it down to something small, distill it to one small action at a time, and that's going to help you to continue taking these steps and continue doing the hard work that you're doing so that you can push through this situation, so that you can really start to figure out what your purpose is. And it doesn't have to be an internship, obviously. It could be whatever it is that you're trying to do. You know, you're trying to start a business. Really start researching what it takes to start a business and how much capital you're going to need to start a business. Because in the United States, you're going to need money to start a business. How do I do that? Okay, I need this much money. Meaning if I save $1 a day, then it's going to take me a year to save the capital I need to start my business. Okay, so $1 a day, that's easy. If you have a job, if you're an adult, then you probably are able to get $1 a day and put that aside, right? Super easy. By the end of the year, you have $365 that you can use to start a business that you've just been sitting aside, that hasn't really damaged your account, that doesn't take away from your paying rent or you're buying food or you're doing anything to take care of yourself. It's $1. I guarantee you use $1 for so many things that you don't need, that you can afford that, right? It doesn't take a lot to make these changes. You are letting yourself be overwhelmed, but you don't have to be. It doesn't take a lot. Stop and really look at all the possibilities. Look at the details in your life. Look at the smallest little sorry. The Knight of Pentacles, he is an overwhelmed fella. He is surrounded by greed and gold, and he just doesn't know what to do about it. So I think the message here is to stop and look at one aspect of all the stuff that's surrounding you. Stop and look at the smallest details of all the stuff you're dealing with, and then take that and let that guide you as you keep moving. But this is not the time to give up. This is not at all the time to give up on yourself. Even though you're tired, even though you're exhausted, even though it feels like every waking moment might be a chore, just keep going, because you're going to break through that. You are going to be free of that. It just might not happen today. It just might not happen this week. Because, like I said, with the Eight of Swords, you're going to be aware of how you're in this situation. You're going to start to be aware of how you can move away from the situation, but you're not exactly ready to just burst out of it just yet, okay? So let's see what your energy is as we close this day. How are you going to end this Monday? What is your energy, regardless of, or based on whatever choices you make? What is your energy to close out this Monday, January 7th, 2019? How are you going to close out this Monday? And of course, as always, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your support and your love and your kind messages. And if you would like a reading, I am doing them on my website. And if you message me on Facebook and you're really, really nice, there is a chance I'll give you one for free, just because I really enjoy giving readings. And if I do have the time and we can work together and you give me a review, I am usually happy to just do it. Sometimes it's not about the money. That is, you know, helpful because I got to eat, got to live. But that's not why this is, it's not why I'm doing this, you know. So what is your energy to close this Monday, to end this day? Judgments, right? So you are being called to make this change. It has to start. You have to do something. You're feeling, like I said, like you don't believe in yourself. You don't have this belief in your capabilities. You're feeling tired. You're feeling worn down. And like something in your brain is just like, you know what? That's enough. I'm not okay with continuing this life. And you have the King of Wands. Again, you're like, I am ready to make this change. I am ready to fix this problem. So I do think these go along with the Eight of Swords, where like you're going to be aware of the situation that you're in. You're going to be aware of how you got into this situation and that you need to get out of it. You're going to really feel a need to start to break free from whatever this dark energy that you've been dealing with, whatever this negative energy that you've been facing, and you're going to really start thinking about ways to change it. You're going to really you're even going to start something, I think. Like, it could be the saving $1 a day. It could be signing up for the Capital app, which allows people to save money without thinking about it. I love the Capital app. This is not a sponsored thing. It just, in my head, I love the Capital app so much. It allows me to save money without even thinking about having to do that. Like, automatically it takes money out of my checking account, puts it into a saving account, and it saves it for specific things. Like, I am saving for a trip to Europe. I'm saving to publish and market my book. I am saving for my bills and rent. I am saving for to pay off my loans and pay off my debts. And these are just things that every time I get a paycheck, it goes into my savings accounts and it goes into one of these categories depending on how I set it up. And I don't have to worry about it. You know, I just have what I need when I need it. And it's been a life changer. It really has saved me so much, and I'm so happy that it's a thing that exists. So, you know, you could take that step. You could set up an account. You could start just putting money in a jar. You can Google internships or Google ways to start whatever it is you're trying to start. You're going to really be taking some physical, actionable steps today, I think, because you're so sick of being in this endless cycle. You're so set, you're so tired of just feeling like there's no purpose for you, like feeling like you're not on a path, feeling like you're just drifting through life. And you're done with that. You're tired of that, okay? And that's a good thing. It is time for you to get up and move. It is time for you to take action in improving your life. And like I said, today it's not going to be something that just immediately changes overnight, but with the perfection of your life, you have to know that you are on the right path. And when you start making these changes, when you start doing these things for yourself, when you start believing that it's time for a change and it is time to fix these issues that you've been dealing with, fix this maybe depression or this lack of purpose, this lack of belief in yourself, when you are ready to heal these things, you're ready. Like, you're on fire, you're ready, you're passionate, you're excited, and it could just be a little bit of excitement. It could be like, okay, I can take that first step. Good. And that's all you need to do. Look at the perfection of your life. Look and know that you're on the right path. That things aren't always going to go the way that they look like they should go. Things aren't always going to be perfect. There will always be ups and downs. There will always be failures mingled in with your successes, but you can't let that hold you down. You can't let that keep you down. You can't let that stop you. Just like with that 10 of Wands, it is not time for you to give up. It is time for you to see your power, to start taking actionable steps to bring about this change, and to understand that, you don't have to break out of your chains immediately. You don't have to free yourself immediately today, but you do need to start taking the steps so that you can do that, because if you don't do anything, then you will be stuck in that 8 of Wands position forever, and you don't want that. No one wants that, and you especially are not in a position today where that's what you want. Okay? What you want is growth. What you want is change. What you want is to realize that it all just takes a little step. just 1 or 2 steps, tiny little incremental actions to bring you out of this situation, okay? So hold on to that and keep moving forward. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you tomorrow. Remember always that I love you. Bye.